The educational materials presented here were developed by students and faculty of the Department of Food Science and Human Nutrition at Iowa State University. Funding for this project was provided by grants from the American Cancer Society Midwest and the Lance Armstrong Foundation. The materials are intended for educational use and are not meant to provide medical advice. We welcome your feedback about these materials. Please use the evaluation survey link on the homepage to provide your comments and suggestions. Caffeine's role in tea, coffee, and cancer. Caffeine is found in many beverages and foods. This chart compares the amount of caffeine found in coffee and tea. As you can see, the coffee is significantly higher in caffeine content than tea. The way coffee is prepared also affects the amount of caffeine in the beverage. Black, white, and green tea contain measurable amounts of caffeine. This may be surprising to some people who may think that green tea is caffeine-free. Decaffeinated teas have very low amounts of caffeine and are a good alternative if you are interested in limiting your caffeine intake. The caffeine content in brewed coffee averages between 100 and 200 milligrams per cup, while the amount in regular tea ranges from 40 to 100 milligrams. This chart lists a variety of beverages, foods, and medicine with their caffeine content. Note that caffeine content is not required to be included on the food label, so finding the amount of caffeine in a product may take some research. There are several websites where this information can be found, including those of the manufacturer of the product and also the Mayo Clinic nutrition site. Something that may be surprising is the amount of caffeine in 2 tablets of extra-strength Excedrin. This is about the amount provided in a cup of coffee and is delivered in 2 pills. Now that you have an idea of how much caffeine is in some popular beverages and foods, let's take a look at how caffeine affects the body. Caffeine stimulates the central nervous system. It makes you more alert and boosts energy. For these reasons, it is used in many over-the-counter pain relievers such as Excedrin migraine. How much caffeine is considered safe? There is no standard for caffeine consumption. However, a range of 500 to 600 milligrams per day is considered to be safe. This would be around 4 to 7 cups of strong coffee, 3 to 4 grande Starbucks vanilla lattes, 9 to 11 cans of Mountain Dew, or 6 to 8 small cans of Red Bull. Very high caffeine consumption has serious impacts on health, including restlessness, anxiety, irritability, and headache. Some people may be very sensitive to caffeine intake and need to limit their consumption to avoid feeling jittery or anxious. It is also possible to develop a sort of tolerance or dependency on caffeine, and sudden reduction in intake may cause headache or withdrawal-like symptoms. These are typically mild and short-lived. However, as the body adapts to a lower caffeine intake, the symptoms should subside. There are many factors that affect the amount of caffeine each individual can consume before facing the negative side effects. Caffeine sensitivity is different depending on body mass, age, smoking habits, drug or hormone use, and stress. Individuals should monitor their caffeine intake and adjust the amount to find a good balance. Several studies have examined the association between the consumption of carbonated soft drinks containing caffeine and cancer risk. A Harvard research team examined the effects of soft drinks on upper GI cancers and found no increased or decreased risk of cancers of the mouth, pharynx, larynx, esophagus, or stomach with consumption of 1 or more cans of soda per day. Because many of the soft drinks consumed in the U.S. contain sugar, there is potentially an increase in risk associated with cancer of the breast and colon in persons consuming these beverages due to the increase in body fatness. However, when examined separately from body fatness, consumption of soft drinks does not appear to increase the risk of cancer. Coffee, tea, and other caffeinated beverages do not appear to increase the risk of any forms of cancer, and in fact may provide a protective effect on some forms of cancer. Caffeine-containing beverages, coffees, and teas are widespread in the marketplace. Children and teens are increasingly consuming these products at younger ages. These products may contain high amounts of sugar and low amounts of the beneficial compounds found in coffee or tea. It is always wise to read labels carefully and to monitor sugar and caffeine consumption, especially in children. The impact of lifelong exposure to caffeine has not been assessed. However, caffeine has been consumed by humans throughout history. Further research will be needed to more fully understand the many compounds found in beverages, which also contain caffeine, to identify its role in the cancer process. Caffeine is considered safe for most people, but should be avoided with any adverse side effects, and for women who are pregnant. Moderate consumption of these beverages can be part of a healthy